enthusiasts. Your next level AI powerhouse is here. APEXX is designed to revolutionize the way you create, market, and engage. With the Cinema Still app, turn your imagination into stunning cinematic stills. Perfect for building immersive storylines, enhancing your Twitch and YouTube content, or crafting visually striking paranormal investigations. Need dope hooks and stackers to grab attention? APEXX has you covered with next-gen notification tools for Twitch and YouTube, driving more clicks and engagement. And when it's time to market effortlessly, let AI take the wheel. Our AI-powered email marketing crafts the perfect campaigns, so you can focus on what you do best, creating. Level up your content, supercharge engagement, and unlock your creative potential.
Hey, how's it going today or tonight?
Yeah, tonight is good.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back on. I'm so sorry that I missed everyone last week. You know, things happen. And
You were sick. That's okay. That's all right.
Yes, I was sick, but I feel better. Today, I think I feel probably the best I've felt in for a week. So maybe I had the bug or something. Maybe, I mean, we do have an outbreak going around right now. Yeah, we don't know about it because, of course, the government closed, the CDC and, and everything like that. So people don't have, quick access to it. But the thing is, this outbreak has been happening at the beginning of the month, who pretty much released it out like, on January 7th. So,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's an acute respiratory virus that's going around, and it's not RSV, it's a different one. And then like another phase of COVID that's upper respiratory as well. But what's like really getting people right now is the flu. The flu this year is really dangerous. People have died from the flu. This time around, they're saying that the flu is more dangerous than COVID, So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so get your flu shots,
If you get shots, go ahead and get them. If not, for goodness sakes, be careful.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
No, absolutely. And believe me, I believe, I know people have mixed emotions about taking the COVID shot. I did too. I had to take the COVID shot for my job working in the entertainment industry. But that backfired because I had an allergic reaction to it. Almost died from it. I'm still recovering. That was like 5 years ago, man. I'm still recovering, from it. I don't even know if I'm going to fully recover from it.
Some people never do.
No, never. Absolutely. So please, everyone, take care of yourself. And welcome back, Shadow Dwellers, to Echoes of the Shadows. I am your host, Chris O'Toole, and then my lovely producer,
Thank you.
Johns. And tonight we're going to dive into the most chilling and disturbing chapters in American history and crime. A story that shook Houston down to its core in the early 1970s. A story of betrayal, manipulation, and unspeakable evil. So tonight we're going to be unraveling the horrifying tales of Dean Crowell, the man known as the Candyman Killer, in the Houston mass murders. So we're going to explore like the crimes and details and possibly more to discover victims and a dark history that surrounds this case. So, lock your doors and let's step into the shadows. So what do you know about the Houston mass killings? Or the Houston
I'll be real with you. I don't know much. Do you want to go ahead and we have somebody that's coming on, but he must have lost his connection.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean,
he's got the link, so we'll pop up. I don't know a lot. My girl Chris here didn't tell me till yesterday, which exactly what we're doing.
At the last minute,
Oh yeah, she's teaching me actually, and I was gonna actually get here and look it up a little bit, but the little bit I did see, it was disturbing. I don't know how else to put it.
No, absolutely. I mean, it was very disturbing. And
Mark is back. Would you like to pull him up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is Mark Walsh. I'm gonna let
Hey.
him.
Hey,
Hey,
Mark.
Mark.
Thank you for coming
This
on
is-
tonight.
Yes, thank you. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you so our viewers can know who you are?
I just wanted to comment really quick about the COVID thing. Me and Jen were talking about this earlier about going down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
There's something that your mainstream media isn't telling you, and I found this out maybe a couple months ago. The reason that they had the vaccine available is because dogs carry COVID. They carry it, and I didn't know that for the longest time. The dogs, that's why they had all that available
Yeah, well, I
right
know
away.
that. Yeah, I know that. I know cats. I know felines can carry
Yeah, I didn't know that.
a
I
certain,
didn't know that for the longest
yeah, a
time.
certain
And
strand of COVID. Yeah,
yeah, well, there's different strains and everything, but
right.
yeah. But anyways, wow, where do I start? I started getting into the paranormal 1987, I think. But then, there was no internet or anything. It was UFOs, then it was cryptids, and then ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this October Halloween will be 39 years I've been doing it.
Oh, congratulations.
He's
Yeah.
an OG. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with OGs. Hey, you know what? I respect people, who've been in the paranormal community for so many years. I mean, I've been in the paranormal community for like 20, close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it's changed a lot. Has changed because it was about the the science part, the mysticism, hoping that
And
you can
yeah,
witness something.
if I could go back, I would. When there was no internet, there was nothing. Your Google was a library.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to go get books and everything. But when the internet hit and it started to become really popular, that's when everything changed. And if I could go back just before that and do it all over again, I wish it was like that still. Because when I started, there was nothing. And then the next thing, the internet hits, and then there's Yahoo groups, and then there's MySpace. And now it's
Right.
all over the place and everything. It has changed so much, but I just keep on trucking and doing my own thing. So yeah, I've been that. I mean, and everybody thinks that the
Yeah, I mean,
paranormal is just ghost hunting, and it's not. It's everything.
No,
no,
it's not.
absolutely. That's where how I started in. I started as a tech, as an AV tech. So I happened to meet this guy who became my mentor, and his name was Peter Havlin. I don't know if you've heard that name or not, but he's well known down here, in the South area here in Texas. But yeah, I started with him, and I started in audio, and I mean, the first time that I did it, I was hooked because,
Yeah.
we went to a place that was very haunted. I mean, like when I walked in, I started crying. I didn't know why I was crying. I'm not that type of person, and I kept on feeling something around my neck, and and all these experiences, and then I captured my first Class A EVP, and it was very moving and emotional because it was
Yeah.
a kid who was like
Oh, kidding.
13. Yeah, and he
Yeah, she
he's a
wants to
kid
make an
again.
appearance.
Oh.
Oh, I love cats. I love cats.
She come to visit you.
Yeah, but he ended up taking his own life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, at the age of 13. And
Damn.
so yeah, because he couldn't, all his family was military supposedly, and he just could not live up to that standards supposedly, and he took his own life. And so he stayed in the house. And so when the people purchased the home, they didn't disclose that the house was haunted. So here in the state of Texas, they don't have to disclose anything like that. They don't have to
They do in
disclose.
Tennessee. I mean, if I mean, I would be the type of person. Oh, I want to go see your home. Is it haunted? That'd be me.
Yeah, me too.
I would
Yeah.
ask, and here they got to tell you.
Now it's kind of like there's a little loophole in in real estate here. Okay, so like if you're selling a home, if somebody has died in the house of natural causes or a suicide,
Mhm.
by law you don't have to disclose that there's been a death in the home. Now, if it was a homicide, that's a different story.
Right.
But if the house is haunted, you don't have to disclose it. But if I ask you, hey, is this house haunted? Then you're going to have to disclose if it's haunted or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
But in the eyes of the law, it doesn't change the situation when you're purchasing a home,
Right. Yeah.
or closing. I learned that the hard way.
Right.
Because
Yeah, she could tell you some stories. Ooh, man.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
Yeah.
we were talking earlier. We went way down the rabbit hole
Yeah,
earlier
we were
today.
digging. We were just
We
digging
were
that hole.
we were so far down that nobody could have pulled us out.
There you go.
That'll be
And
another time. But yeah, I've got a lot of government stories and UFOs and all that.
Mhm.
actually, I think you and my friend JC, the one that I had on as a guest, I think y'all would just like be two peas in a pod because he's definitely into that. He used to work for the government or be a part of the government, and so like
The
he
government.
yeah,
The
exact government, right?
government.
And he sent me some really cool stuff, through his drive, and I was like, whoa, it was kind of mind blowing. He's like,
Yeah,
oh
I've
yeah,
I've
this is
got
like,
enough for probably 20 or 30 podcasts. So yeah, probably
oh
more.
nice.
Well, when he starts his show, we'll have to get Chris on, right, Mark?
Yeah.
We'll bring her back and get the whole panel there going.
Oh
It's
God, we'll be all night on that.
Yeah.
like when I was younger, when I would hear conspiracy theories, I used to watch Alex Jones when I was younger.
Oh God,
Uh,
I love him. Yeah.
and I was like, okay, is this real? Like, I can understand the logic, most of the logic, and there are things that the government is hiding that they're not disclosing to the American people.
There's way
Right.
more.
You
I
know,
told Gwen, I said, I'll quote Ghostbusters. I've seen that'll turn you white, and that's the truth. Some of the things that I've done and some of the things that I've gotten into and everything, and that I know about I mean, I could have kept on going talking to her earlier, but yeah, there's some things out there that there's the government that everybody else knows, then there's the government that runs everything. So yeah.
Mhm.
and especially like what we're talking about tonight with the Houston mass murders. There has been conspiracy theories about John Wayne Gacy, and Dean Kroll and all these
Yeah.
people who were like in this underground, child sex ring and all that they all knew each other, that they networked with each other, and
Well, you're right. It's funny you would say that because I've even heard rumors that the government plants all this on purpose. With the
and
serial killers and everything. Like I said, I don't know how true that. I mean, I know the serial killers and the big name ones and everything, and read about them and everything. But
Mhm.
you bring that up, and then people say, "Oh, it's all a conspiracy that the government puts these serial killers out there and everything." I'm like, well, who knows?
I mean, my thing is like, of course, with like Dean Kroll. Dean Kroll served in the military. He was in the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he served his country. Like when he got out, he went to work with his mother. She owned a candy store and so forth in the Heights, here in Houston, and
Wow.
and then he was giving out candy. But they believe that he has killed people or murdered, children, boys, probably all the way like, from like 1970, probably 1968 or so. I mean, these are just
Wow.
like, speculation. So, um, like of course, I've never met the dude in person because like he died, I think before I was born. I was
Mhm.
born in 76, but I always heard about him growing up. It was always, kind of like an urban legend in a way about Dean,
Yeah.
Kroll. And so, I didn't know when I was in my early 20s, when I was living in the Heights, I was living in the Woodland Heights, and I actually lived not too far from, where the candy store used to be, and his stomping ground where he would pick up boys and everything. And so a few years ago, we were filming for a production company for Eli Roth Presents. And so we had a Airbnb in the Heights, not too far from, from where he used to live. And so I told the guys, the text, I'm like, hey, don't be surprised, like, if strange stuff happens, because we're not too far from where Dean Kroll, used to murder boys. And like right when I said that, like the batteries just went completely dead.
Wow.
And like I've worked in AV for like 25 years, and worked with, IATSE, working in entertainment. So the best, batteries we use are Duracells, because Duracells last the longest and so forth, like in lavs and all that. And not once but twice it killed the mics. Like the batteries just, yeah. And so the producer was asking after we did the interview, like, hey, can we get some shots of you like messing with, it wasn't the spirit box, but it was the necrophonic, and I had like
I love that app.
I do too.
It's first thing.
Well, it's the only one that, I mean, we got a battlefield close to us, the Stones River battlefield, and I've used it every time out there, because when we'd go out, I've probably been out there more than 200 times.
Right.
But when we go out there, I always have a set of questions I ask, and every time I ask them, I always get the same answers. And skeptics say, well, you can't replicate it. Well, yeah, you can. So yeah, it's a good app.
Yeah, like I can validly say that with the necrophonic app, and out of all the ITC apps that I've used, is that has been kind of like the most accurate in picking up things, because I can pick up residual energy, I can pick up intelligent energy, and it really works great with the spirit box I created called the Havlin Nicola, that actually works on a customized brainwave frequency. So you get a better the energy is able to communicate a little bit better. I'm not saying that you can hear it all, you know what I'm saying, but I mean, I've had great results, you know what I'm saying, with it.
I used to use a spirit box a lot, but I got rid of it, and I've got an app on my laptop PC. It's called the Phasma Box by Extreme Senses, and it is incredible. You don't have the background noise or everything, and it's really, really, really cool. I like using that one a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like check that one out. I basically try to
Extreme Senses, yeah.
Yeah, I try to keep to the two that I use, and that's the Trans Theory. I use that, and I definitely use the necrophonic, and I put those side by side. So just for confirmation purposes,
Yeah.
Well, you know what confirms it for me? I've told you this, Chris. The reason I like necrophonic is because what I hear with just my ears, no equipment, I hear the same voices with the necrophonic, and that's it for me.
That's like when I go to the battlefield. It's the same every single time. Every single time. The same thing.
No, absolutely. And see, and I haven't I was telling her what my bucket list is actually go to Civil War battlefields, like in y'all's neck of the woods, because over here, I mean, we did have the Civil War, but it didn't go down like it went down over there.
Yeah, we're going to Gettysburg next year, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and I want to go to Gettysburg. That's like, on my bucket list and all that. I drove past it. I didn't even know I was driving past it, and I started getting emotional and shit. And I'm like, why am I getting emotional? And my friend's like, oh, we're passing Gettysburg. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wow. When we go to the battlefield, I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've been, but it's every time that, you'll see and hear cannon fire and musket fire, and I've seen so many apparitions of soldiers out there and everything. It's just incredible.
And see, and I personally want to experience that. I mean, I've seen, apparitions. I've seen things I can't explain. That was just pitch black darkness that, looked like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a demon. I don't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some strange things, but I would love to witness that because I love history. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
And I
That's
want
what
to
I
just
do. Yeah. I research. I do more research. Everybody says, well, this place is haunted. Okay, why is it haunted? Well, I don't know. And I do the research on everything. And a matter of fact, I've got a relative on my dad's side, his great uncle, like 3 times or whatever, that fought at Stones River, that is buried across the street at the cemetery from the battlefield, that he fought with his. There was like 6 brothers from Kentucky that I'm related to that all
Oh
fought
wow.
there.
wait.
Yeah.
What 6 brothers are you related to from Kentucky?
Um. Oh God. Oh no, my sister does all that. Um.
So
I'll
this
send you the picture, Gwen.
okay.
And that one of them looks just like me. I could be his twin. I kid you not. And I can't remember their
That's
last
cool.
name.
Okay, so
Um.
this is the reason why I asked you this because today I was doing some genealogy research on my family, and my
Mhm.
family's from Kentucky. They came from actually they're the descendants of King Canute, like the Cornets, and so I was just doing some genealogy today, and they were the first settlers in Virginia, and then they just spread it out to Kentucky. So I
That's
had
interesting.
right. So I had 5, like I guess like 5 ancestors, I guess
Oh
who were
no.
brothers,
Uh,
and they fought in the American Revolution.
yeah.
So
I've
yeah, so
got a
that's
rep. I don't know. Speaking of the American Revolution, I also found out I'm related to Mad Anthony Wayne, who was a traitor during the American Revolution. Yay! I mean, something to
that's
be proud
pretty
about.
cool.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Look, man, anything that your family is history in, whether if it's good or bad, it's just
well,
your
yeah,
family's in it. You know what
right.
I'm
It's
saying?
still interesting.
No, absolutely.
When my dad was still alive, I told him what we did. He goes, "Oh, I've got relatives that fought at Stones River." I'm like, "What?" And he gave
Mm.
me all the names, and after he passed away, my sister's continuing all that. But yeah, he
Right.
gave me the name and everything. I went across the street, and there's a map or something you can look up to where everybody's buried, because they buried them back then. They just dug a ditch and threw them in the damn ditch and on with the
Right.
war,
Right. Right.
And
Mhm.
so
If
he's
they even
buried
did
there.
that.
Right, right, I know, right, especially Gettysburg. But
Mhm.
yeah, I found him and went there, did EVP and everything, and got some incredible stuff
Wow.
from that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But
No,
yeah, I'll send you that picture, Gwen, later, and you'll
Oh
be
yeah,
like, "Oh my
please
god!"
do.
Yeah, you'll be
That'd be
like, "Oh
great.
my
I'll share it
god!"
with Chris.
My
and
sister sent it to me, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Maybe I'm him reincarnated, and that's why I'm so into the Civil War. Hell, I don't know.
hey, I
Oh
just
wow.
wanted to go and give a shout out to everyone. Hey,
Yeah.
so I want to say thank you guys for coming on and watching us and all that on this segment. And I'm sorry I cannot like individually comment to y'all because actually I tried to like
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you off track
through
about
YouTube.
the serial
Oh
killer.
no, it's
Okay.
okay. I have ADD, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's
So
all
we
good.
get it. I want to say too, you
Oh,
guys.
look, squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
If you guys, if you comment and it does not show up, just send me a private message because for some reason it's not showing everybody at
And
all. It's
and
Yay,
not.
my
StreamYard.
Yeah.
my MacBook Pro is like old as AF. So I can't upgrade the browser anymore. So because I can't upgrade the browser, I can't comment.
Yeah.
So,
Through
so
YouTube.
how many with Houston? Do you know how many actual serial killers came out of there besides the one you talked about? I mean, are there a lot?
That's a good question. There are some serial killers that have neither came out of Houston or was just working around Houston. As you probably heard of the Texas killing fields,
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
too far from me. I think it's like maybe like 35 minutes away and all
Wow.
that. And that's off
Crazy.
of I-10. And so most of the bodies were found in the Colder oil field over off of 646 and
Yeah.
45 around that area. I think that they have it open because I want to go. I think they have it open as a memorial that you can actually go back there and so forth. But, there were different men who dropped bodies there. You know what I'm saying? So there was more than one serial killer. And this was going on in the span of, 50 years. And actually one of my friends' sisters was one of those victims,
Wow.
and I'll never forget that day.
Let me ask you something else too that comes up a lot
Mhm,
about, don't go to graveyards, don't, because it's disrespectful, or because people always talk about well, I want to go investigate Auschwitz or wherever,
mhm.
concentration camps were and stuff like that. Do you
Mhm.
think that like going to like plane crash sites or something like the killing fields is disrespectful? Oh, I want to go get EVPs. I want to do that. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, there's people who say that it's disrespectful because maybe they don't understand.
Yeah.
Personally, with me, like I try to put every situation in consideration when it comes to
Mhm.
a loved one when I do go to a graveyard, because that's where I do my research, and
Right.
in this research that I've done, like I've created the Havlin Nicola that works on your brainwave frequencies with,
Mhm.
with the necrophonic, and you can actually project your thoughts and it'll come out, you can just like write
That's
down a
pretty
word and
cool.
concentrate on and it comes out. So that's the thing I like about the necrophonic because it does pick up your subconsciousness. It does pick up when you're, if
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have a
And I
speaker
and I
for it,
love that you're doing that because I'm always looking for new things to do. Yeah, okay, not everybody, but a lot. People go out and they do the same routine and they ask the same
They
questions,
do.
and you see all that. But when you do something like that, and on Paraflix, I don't know if you guys know War Party Paranormal, the Haunted Files. What they do is this. One of the guys is called the Delco experiment. I don't know if you heard of it or not, but it's like the almost like the Estes method. But
Yes.
Mhm.
but you put on the headphones and you put on goggles that shoots red light into your eyes. It's like a total deprivation. And I
Right.
watch it. I'm like, I love when people come up with new things to do in the
Yeah.
paranormal, especially when it's outside the box. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, let's go use the necrophonic. Oh, we're gonna go ask questions, the same questions, and we're gonna do the same routine. And everybody's got their gig and everything. But yeah, when you do something like that, excuse me, or when someone does it, I love it because I'm constantly thinking about new things to come up with. Especially look at the technology we have.
No, no,
Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
absolutely. I'm all about innovation. I mean, Gwen already knows that, like I built like an AI platform and so
Oh,
forth like that to do the graphics and all
Mhm.
that for like content creators and all that. But also too, I've created some like, some paranormal apps as well, that can help out like for psychic and mediums to manifest like realistic AI imaging of people that they see, you know what I'm saying,
that
and
is
the
cool.
location, or law enforcement officers can use it. Also, too, I have a app called Crime Sleuth AI, and so you can input the evidence, and then what it will do is give you different scenarios of what could possibly happen, and
Is
like a
that available? I mean, is that available for anybody
um,
to get?
it will be soon.
Okay.
I've kind of I kind of ran into some issues because I'm trying to do my training and so
Now you
forth
got me
like
hooked.
that.
Yeah.
Hey man,
I want to try it
it
too so bad.
yeah, I
Don't
wish I
tease us. Come on, man. Don't tease
ah
us.
see, and the thing is I really want this to be like on on iOS and Android platforms
Right.
and so forth like that. But I gotta hire somebody, a developer, to do it. Compare it for it to be on the desktop.
Well, as
And
soon as you get it done, I will go
Well,
live
you know
yeah,
what's
and
crazy?
I will test it
and,
for
and,
How,
and,
you.
and you can use it on your phone too. You
Mhm.
can use it.
how much AI is like almost like, I love Chat GPT, but there's, you can do pictures and everything, and now you can,
Mhm.
I mean, AI is just getting way out there that I bet you could put something in and it would spit something out for you,
Yeah,
that you needed.
you have different models. You have different AI models. So you have like Chat GPT, you have Chat Turbo, which is like supposed to be the fastest one, but at one time DeepSeek was like the fastest one. I like DeepSeek because it's free. If I want to use the API and incorporate it into, my app, I can. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to pay a lot of money for it. The thing is about AI takes a lot of money to run. It is
Yeah.
not cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, even the subscriptions that I have are not cheap. I mean, like
I bet. Yeah.
the cheapest one is like $27.99, and that doesn't
Wow.
include that you got to pay a $9 sitting fee on top of that.
Oh, wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, and
Wow.
these apps, the software goes up to, I want to say like $485 a
Whoa.
month. You know what I'm saying? Because you can do so much with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you can create emails with it, like do your email marketing. It has its own CRM, with it. You can like I said, it has hyper realistic imagery and stop scrolling ads, for people to stop it. It automatically makes, magic hooks, which those are really important these days, because what it does, it keeps up with the stream of, what people will look for, and, what's going to make them click, so it increases your click stop rate. So, but I mean, the stuff that I actually did, like my video, all that was basically, using Apex AI.
Yep.
It was just using that software.
Well, you
So
guys, I'm gonna call time for a minute and say, let's go over some of the Houston stuff. I know we can go down that rabbit hole forever, but
okay, I'm climbing back out. I'm climbing back out.
I know, and I'm having to. That's what I was just looking. And you probably won't be able to see it. He almost looks like an innocent guy. I don't know. Anybody can see that? Is that too dark? Can you?
No, I can see it. Yeah.
Can you? Well, this is him. How you say his last name? Coral?
Coral.
Dean Coral. Ooh. Yeah. But from what I look, Chris, you probably know more than I do. I was just kind of glancing around.
Okay, so his name was Dean Arnold Carl, and he was no ordinary killer. To the outside world, he was a quiet and unassuming man, and he ran a candy factory in Houston. But beneath the facade lured a predator, and the worst kind. He was born in 1939. Coral grew up in a broken home with a domineering mother and a father who was largely absent in his life. And some speculate that this turbulent upbringing played a role in shaping his dark psyche. By the early 1970s, Coral had become a figure of trust in his community, often luring young boys with promises of money, drugs, and even a friendly ear. But these boys soon discovered that Dean Kroll's intentions were far from innocent. Kroll's crimes were facilitated by two teenage accomplices, David Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley. These boys were themselves victims of Kroll's manipulation to help them lure and torture and murder at least 28 young boys between 1970 and 1973. The true number of victims, however, have never been known. So the Houston mass murders, as they became known as the series of gruesome crimes that terrorized the city, Kroll's modus operandi was horrifying as mythological. He would lure his victims, mostly teenage boys, to his house or some location in a guise of friendship or offers of work. Once the boys would be drugged and restrained, he would subject them to unspeakable acts of torture before being murdered. Cole's killing spree might have continued indefinitely, but for the fateful night of August 1973, Elmer Wayne Henley, one of Cole's accomplices, shot and killed Cole during a confrontation. Henley claimed that Cole had threatened to kill him and another victim, prompting him to act in self-defense. When the police arrived at the scene, they discovered the House of Horrors, torture devices, Polaroid photos of victims, and a map leading to burial sites. Over the following weeks, the 28 victims were unearthed from the shallow graves in boat sheds, beaches, and forests around Houston. The sheer scale of the crime sent shockwaves through the nation. So, that being said, he had bodies in Galveston, over in a boathouse, in a boat storage facility, also to another boat storage facility as well. In San Rayburn, over I think at the San Rayburn Park, is a lot of forestry there and so forth. And
Wow.
yeah, he he did a lot of killing. And see, and this was the weird part about it. He knew he found a niche, because at that time in the 70s, they were runaway boys. You know, boys would
Mm-hmm.
run away and their parents would put a missing persons, but they didn't have a missing persons department back in the day. You know, it was just a phone call like, hey, my son's missing. This is what he looks like, or whatever. He had it pat down, because if these boys ran away, they weren't basically coming back. You know, not the cops weren't going to just get up and like search and try to find them.
No, not at all.
You know, so yeah.
This
That's
says
crazy.
they were between 13 to about 20.
No,
most of them.
no, absolutely. And so
Kind of
the
like Dahmer.
yeah, in some respects, kind of like Dahmer. You know, Dahmer was more for the gay black men more than anything. You know, and he was basically, picking up these kids and doing horrible things. And just like what was witnessed, I want to say, by Henley, if I can recall from back in the day, reading, reading an article that he came in and like he didn't know at the time that Dean was doing this stuff to these kids, and he walked in on him sodomizing, sodomizing a child, sodomizing a boy. Dean told him to shut the door and get out, and so that's what he did. And then later on, Dean tells him, like, look, like I had to take care of them. That was the last time you were going to see them, So he said he killed him and he buried him.
Do you think that with the serial killer thing, that with all of them or any of them, that's like because they had a horrible childhood or their parents were mean to them, or you know what I mean?
I think in most cases that would probably be the norm for a serial killer, because I feel that serial killers are sociopaths or psychopaths. I believe that it depends on how they were raised, because as you know, between the life of 1 and 4 is the most crucial point for a child for their growth development. So that's when they start developing their personality and all that. So they need that bonding with their parents, like with their mom, with they need that nurturing, from their parents. And if they don't get that, then it's a constant, I'm not saying all, but it's that unwanted attention that they try to get. If it's unwanted or wanted, because they feel, what I'm saying, that satisfaction, to get some type of attention. And then you have some that are just, they don't talk to people. They're just very introverted, and have these, psychopathic.
And some of them are very charismatic. They're just woo,
right,
like Gacy.
Yeah,
right. I mean, because like if you really look at, man, I can see him plain as day because you just brought him up. Dahmer, okay. Dahmer didn't have a bad childhood. His father was just gullible and not putting 2 and 2 together of what was going on.
I watched that on Netflix and I couldn't stop watching it. I mean, I watched, I think, the whole series like in one day or whatever, but because it's not because you're like, okay, because I remember being, I think it was in Springfield, Missouri, whatever, when they were originally going to do the trial with him. And I remember that and reading all about it and everything. And then, of course, he got whacked in prison and everything. And then, they really didn't get into details like they did with the series on Netflix, about him and everything. And I'm like, whoa, it was, pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And my thing is like, how did his dad not see this?
Right.
Now, everybody takes trauma differently. They really do. Obviously his type of trauma was his relationship with his mom, his parents, because his dad always stood up for him. His dad loved him unconditionally. I mean, he showed that even the horrible things that his dad, that he did, he never left his son's side, but then the mother was just distant. She wasn't there, and so that just kind of shows too, the important roles of parenting, regardless, if it's heterosexual or same sex, because you have parents, the parents give you, the everything that you need, your nurturing, your encouragement. But when you don't get that, especially from a parent who may have an addiction, or a parent who's absent, that really affects a child. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about experience. You know what I'm saying? From, just from me growing up, when you have parents that are absent in your life, or one parent or two, it really does affect a child's psyche. Now I'm not going out there serial killing and shit, or
Let's
anything
please
like that.
don't.
But everybody takes trauma a different way. And as we talked about previously before, Gwen, about trauma, sometimes when we do have trauma in our lives, and we are not even remotely oblivious to it, of what's going on and all that, that's when our guard is down. And then that's when lower level energy can attach to us, you know what I'm saying? And slowly, gravitate into our minds. And maybe this is what happened, I'm just saying, like, maybe this is what happened with Dean. If he came from a broken childhood and so forth, maybe this was something that he felt like he needed, and I have a feeling, and I don't know this for sure, but I mean, I do have a feeling that he probably was molested. He probably was sexually abused when he was younger.
He was possibly linked to a sex ring, they say. I'm looking now.
Yeah. Because,
and it also says that his let's see, Carl's father was strict and his mother was protective. And how we see that a lot.
Look, absolutely. So remember that video? I don't know if you still have it, but remember that video I sent you? It was Dean Kroll. Remember I did it on the ITC app on the Necrophonic, and I sent it to you.
I'm looking. See, and let me look. You keep on. I'm gonna look and see if I still have it.
Yeah. So supposedly, and we don't know who we really contact with on the other side,
Right.
So I was, by learning by someone else, actually by a previous, person that I'm working on a documentary about. I noticed that you can tap, like, with the frequency, you can tap into other people's consciousness. So I was like, you know what? Like, if spirits can, tap in our consciousness to know what we are and get inside of ours, why can't we reverse that? So that's what I did. And so I tapped into his consciousness, and you can hear the residual energy. You hear, one of the kids, his name is like Johnny DeLome. I mean, it's like really fast, but like you can hear it. And then you can hear a female's voice, and it sounds like his mother. And at the end of the video, you hear, you hear the mother say, like, something in the respect, like, don't say anymore, like trying to protect him. And basically he's just saying, like, well, they already know. You hear about, and see, and I was like going over the case as I was driving in the car. I was listening to a documentary, and I didn't notice this until they said something about it. But on that, if I'm not mistaken, on that footage that I sent you, Gwen, it says something.
I'm looking for
it says something about a box, like, where are they located? A box. Like, he put them in a box. Well, guess what? They were talking about how they found a box that was kind of like a coffin-like type of box, at his residence.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I don't
And
have it on here.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I took it off the program.
No problem, no problem. And then you hear get the board, and they were tortured on the board. Now, the video that I gave you the intro video for tonight and so forth. The after we go through the not the credits but the logo, the first photo that's there of that boy, that was found several years later in Elmer Wayne Henley's personal belongings.
Would you like me to show it?
Yeah,
point?
absolutely.
Would you like me to
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think Mark, I don't think you saw it, but here you go.
All right.
That's the one with the little boy.
Yes, that picture there. They don't know who he is.
Wow.
They don't know where he is. They don't know where he came from. No one has. This picture's been around for like 10 years now. That has been discovered. No one has, from my understanding, no one has come up and said anything. Yes, and you can see the fear on his face, and he is like he's attached to the torture board, and then on the side right there, you see Dean Kroll's toolbox.
Yeah.
Dean was an electrician for HL&P for a while. So when he wasn't working in the daytime, then he would work at night with his mom at the candy shop. So like I said, that's the thing with serial killers too. Some serial killers, everybody knew them. They were, pillar of the community. You know what I'm saying? Everybody liked them.
That's like the interview with some of the interviews with Gacy. You wouldn't ever guessed in a million years listening to him that he would snap, or Dahmer, or any of them. That goes back. How do you not know? That your son is a mass murderer or something. Just like with any of them.
Well, I mean,
if they don't show it, I mean.
But now, since with technology and the internet and people, especially people who are educated in this type of situations, like psychology wise and psychiatric, now we can see the little subtle hints of someone who's could possibly be a serial killer, because most serial killers, neither, like I said, they're sociopaths, or they're psychopaths. So I mean, sociopaths is the environment created the personality, that they live in, basically is for survival purposes. I mean, if you really think about
just like Ramirez too,
Oh yeah.
All of them. What's his name? Ed, what's his name? Ed, oh crap, I can't remember his last name. Gein or whatever it is. Have you guys heard of him, right? Ed Gein, is that how you say his last name?
Oh, Ed Gein.
Gein or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, the serial killer show that I do on Monday nights, we talked about him also. Yeah.
And and with him too, like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I remember when I was a kid, where they would film over there near Austin, like we drove past it a couple of times where the butcher was, and my mom would tell me all the times, like, yeah, that's where the Chainsaw Massacre used to work. And I'm like, what? And like, seriously, I didn't know that shit wasn't real until like maybe like 9 years ago.
Wasn't that the early 70s when that happened?
Okay, that's the thing, that I think there was a killer in the 70s, but they basically made the Chainsaw Massacre film out of the inspiration of Ed Gein.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Right. But everyone, like, even like the people I grew up with, we thought that shit was real. Like, wow, okay, but it was real, but it just didn't happen the way that we thought it happened here, you know. So I
Right.
got scared shitless for nothing, like passing by the the slaughterhouse. You know, now it's a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. Now,
Yeah,
Oh wow.
it
oh
is. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the original house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they actually moved that near the Dallas area, and now that's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, people will come
Yeah.
up with any kind of thing, won't
You
they?
you don't know what you're gonna get to eat when you go there.
Oh no, he didn't. Oh no.
Hey, it's like eating in
Uh,
Louisiana. You don't know what the hell you're getting. Like, look, I didn't know that Nutri-Rat was like some 5-star shit like in Louisiana. My family's from Louisiana, you know, but we were just right. I mean, but we lived in Texas for over 120 something years. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
wow.
But I did go in some woods and down a back way, and then here we are like at a 2-story restaurant, and it was like really nice fine dining, and there was like this big old huge deck out there, and then people were eating, and then there's big ass rats up on these decks, and they would just get the rats, and then they would take them and cook them, and you would have it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
like, you know,
Mm.
like I just see them as beavers. You know, I just
Oh,
You have no idea what you're getting into, Gwen.
oh my god. Yeah, but it just makes me go,
look. I
oh.
can't. I can't see myself eating like turtle soup. Like no.
I've had turtle soup, just tasted, and I'll be real
Mm.
with you. If you don't get it in your head, that's like deer or venison, whatever. But
I love venison. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I don't like the taste, even if it's something I don't know. But you know what? People who like it, great. I wish I did.
Look,
I do.
man,
I wish
I
I
can't.
did.
I can't kill a turtle, man. I can't eat a turtle. My aunt worked for Noah Fisheries for like almost, God, close to 40 years with with sea turtles, and and that was always a part of my life living in Galveston, and like I can't see that. And then like over here, damn, if there's a turtle in the road, like we all fucking stop and we like get the turtle, take it across the
Move
street,
it out of the way.
move it out of the way, and then go on our merry way. So yeah. But you know what? I've realized it is like 8:02.
Well, it's 9:02 here. That's fine. We didn't even
I
start.
forgot.
Yeah.
I
But
totally forgot. Yeah.
Time
Yeah,
flies
so
when you're having fun.
I
it
know,
is,
right?
yeah.
So let's
It
go back to
does.
Dean real quick. So okay,
Yes.
so the house that Dean died in. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when Elmer had a chance to kill him, because Elmer was groomed, so was the other guy. These kids were groomed by him. He even had sex with Elmer Wayne Henley because he didn't have a father, and so Dean groomed him, and basically it's like this is what you do with your dad, basically. You know what I'm saying? So he basically had him where he needed to be. But Elmer knew that something was going on. He knew that most likely that Dean was going to kill him that night, and there was always boys, and that night he brought a girl. So he brought this girl and this guy, and then they were doing, I guess, like doing whippets, or they were inhaling something or inhaling paint or whatever.
Damn.
They all passed out, and then they woke up basically bounded. One
Oh my goodness.
the guy and the girl were on, I think, the torture board and so forth. They were forced to to have relations with one another and so forth. And so like Elmer knew, like, that he was, so he talked to Dean, like, hey, look, man, you're gonna kill him, you're gonna need help, let me help you. So by the time that he got Dean to let him go, he was able to get the gun and shoot Dean 5 times in the back, nude, and he collapsed in the hallway, and then that's where he died.
Damn.
Now, this house was recently demolished I want to say maybe like 2-3 years ago. So the house was remodeled, I think it was a rent house or whatever. And maybe because people would come to this house, I think it was like 2020 Lamar,
Mhm.
and and like see what's up. Now, from my understanding, it's just like an entrance way going into a trail, a green belt, in the back.
But
So
yeah, the energy's still there.
Oh
no,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and I do want to come. I do want to go over there and do do a CITC session and record
Oh
it
wow.
and see what I can pick up the residual
Right.
Yeah.
energy, because from what I picked up on the video that I sent her, a few weeks ago, that there, I mean, it was going in really detail. You hear these kids screaming, you hear someone screaming for help, you
Wow.
know, and all this stuff, and then you just and this is what you're hearing from, I feel like this is what I was hearing from the consciousness of
Yeah.
Kroll, of all the things. But the fact that his mom was trying to hide this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because supposedly the mother didn't know anything about it, which is
Um,
which is hard
really now?
it's hard to believe if you are a dominating mother, and and he's a mama's boy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You can't tell me you didn't know what he was doing, or you
Right.
knew what he was doing, but you just didn't say anything. So,
True.
so Elmer Wayne Henley disclosed a few years ago that there's possibly bodies that were buried in the back of 2020 Lamar.
Mm.
And so they went and they dug back there and they didn't find any bodies. And then not too long after that, they demolished the home. But I
None at
definitely,
all. Hmm.
yeah. But supposedly there's still bodies out there, that's what they think. There's possibly more victims. I feel that these victims are not too far from where I live, I do feel like there are victims, that he may have murdered and, buried them, near the San Jacinto River. That's over here, the San Jac River. So, but most of that is private property. You really can't get onto it,
Right.
because
If
now
I
it's like,
ever come over there, we're going to investigate so much.
oh yeah, there's a
You got
lot of,
so much that
there-
has
there- there-
happened over there.
oh yeah, there's a lot of places to like really investigate, especially Galveston.
Yeah.
Galveston is very haunted,
Yep.
Because of the 1900 storm. But even like, before that, with the Quanqua Indians, like even here in Baytown, we have how can I say, like an untapped resource of, paranormal activity here,
Yeah.
because we're in East Houston. We are the lowest level, we're below sea level, more than Houston is and all
Aren't
that.
you almost an island? Almost?
I used to live where I used to live at, the house that's haunted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically an island now because of erosion,
Yeah.
because of uh, them pumping oil and then the land collapsing. I mean, there's bodies out in the water, that from cemeteries, because the land's just like, collapsed
That's a
and
shame.
everything.
That is a
Yeah,
shame.
but I mean, this place has a lot of history from, the Ice Age, from until this very day. And where I used to live at, I mean, obviously some crazy things have went down over there,
Oh yeah.
comparing to the, the energy. Like Mark, I'm telling you, they will have a conversation with you. Like they have
Oh yeah.
no
Wow.
problem like communicating with you. Even just you can use any ITC, app, and
Right.
they're gonna communicate with you. They'll
Damn. Could you
communicate.
imagine just listening you talk about, where you're at and everything? The Alamo just popped in my head. Could you imagine being able to go in there and oh my God, that'd be a field day.
Okay, so check this out. So I did go to the Alamo because we're about 4 hours away. So
Mhm.
I did go to the Alamo, and I did go to the different missions. There's like 4 or 5 missions out there. And the Alamo, I didn't get too much from it,
Oh,
just like
really? Okay.
from the necrophonic. I think because there's a lot of people over there, but
Yeah.
I did meet some employees who showed me videos of like books flying,
Whoa.
out of the gift shop, on the floor and all that. But the most activity that I was able to capture was actually at, I think it's like was it San Gabriel, I think, mission. And
Mhm.
there wasn't no like big wars there, but there was a constant struggle with Native Americans and the mission. And so, they
Yeah.
would constantly be, attacked. So you hear like cannonball fire, you hear musket shots and so forth like that. And I'll tell you, the other ones that I've been to, I don't hear that. I just only hear it right there. So that tells me
Hmm.
that that app works. I'm not saying that it's 100% accurate all the time, but it works because I hear things in different settings, in different environments. Okay, like also too, I used it over here at the San Jacinto. So we have the Battle of San Jacinto here, from the Mexican American War, and the okay, so Mexico didn't have a chance because the Americans attacked them in their sleep. And so it was, the war only lasted for like less than 15 minutes. That was it.
Wow.
And they just
Hmm.
left the dead Mexican soldiers there, didn't pick their bodies up, didn't bury them, just
That's
left them
crazy.
there. Now it's a swamp.
Yeah.
It's a
A
swamp over
swamp.
That's
here.
like here. Well, too, Gwen. I mean, let's
Hmm.
see. Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, and up, all the northern states. Our area is all Civil War. The whole state of Tennessee, the whole state of Kentucky, and Alabama, and Ohio, and wherever else. North Carolina, South Carolina. It's
Yeah.
all. I mean, the whole. I can go anywhere here in Tennessee. Don't have to be a battlefield. It can be anywhere, and throw a dart at the map, and I'll go, and it'll be haunted.
Yeah. Well,
No,
we go.
absolutely.
Yeah, we just went. What was it? 2 weekends ago that we just went to two cemetery graveyards right near us, and we picked up stuff. There were I forget what the crosses are called from the Civil War. The
Yeah, I know
somebody's
what
going to
you're talking.
hurt me. You know what I'm talking about? The special
Yeah,
ones, and you see them, and unfortunately, people will rob that, and that is just unacceptable. But yeah, you can go anywhere around here, Chris, and I'm sure you can there too. But
Oh yeah.
and if you bring, like, usually we have somebody that has been in the military with us or still is,
Mhm.
and we bring that up as like a trigger, and
Yeah.
it'll help.
And
It'll
so that's
help.
yeah.
and that's what I did last time when I was living at the house that I used to own. So the
Hmm.
last paranormal investigation that we did, because we only did like two, so or three actually. So the last one that we did, I had a friend who does the reenactments over at San Jacinto Battleground.
Hmm.
So he has like the Confederate soldier uniform, and he has the original rifle
Oh,
from
wow.
from that era, right?
The
And
Hmm.
musket.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and he has some blanks. And so what we decided to do is we had three people taking pictures. I was in the center, and then I had two people taking pictures off on the side. And so
Hmm.
as he fired the musket off and so forth, and we waited for the sea breeze to take the gunpowder off, he started
Oh,
walking,
yeah.
we started taking pictures and so forth to see what would manifest. So this is what manifested in one picture, in a Polaroid picture, is that you see my dead dog, Jude,
Oh, wow.
manifest. You see this guy like this, like coming after me like that, that's bald. You see this other guy who's dressed, I want to say maybe from the 1700s, or 1800s. He has like the lamb chops and all
Hmm.
that. I mean, to me, he looks like, he came from England,
That's a great
or maybe
trigger
from
object
France.
too. Using
Yeah.
a must anything, just like when we go to the battlefield. I'll play Dixie or whatever, just to rile the other ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, you get the trigger objects. We one night we were out there, we were crossing in the cemetery, and across the street at the battlefield, we started hearing hundreds of musket fire and cannon, and then within 10 seconds you could smell the sulfur come across. Like, I mean, who's going to be out there shooting 100 muskets at one time at
Oh,
2 o'clock in
wow.
the morning?
And
Yeah.
see, and like when we were talking about that earlier, about the Civil War and so forth, Mark. I don't know, man. I feel that you may have picked something up from over there because I keep seeing this guy with you, and he has long hair. like he's like he has blonde hair. He has like I can tell, you know, he's from the Civil War, you know, and he's like
It could be my relative
yeah,
because he had long hair.
yeah, he's like tall and lanky
Yeah,
in a way.
Yep,
You
yep.
know?
Oh, you know what, Gwen? I will send you the picture.
Please do.
And then you send it to Chris. Yeah, because
Yes.
he had long. Well, it's a black and white picture, so if it's blonde or what. But he had the mustache and facial features and the eyes and the nose and ears look just like me, and so it could be him. I don't know.
Or, you know, maybe it could be you. Maybe you're a reincarnation. I mean, like I truly
Hold on.
believe in that.
Funny you would say that. I went to a past life regression, and they told me I've had 14 past lives. And then, because at one point I was having all these dreams about like medieval times and Atlantis and the Civil War and everything, and it was weird. So I went to this place in Nashville, and as she told me, she goes, "Oh my God!" I said, "What?" She goes, "You've had like 14 of past lives, you know. So who knows?" And maybe that's why I am into the Civil War. Now I'm not just talking paranormal wise.
Right.
I'm talking like I'm obsessed with it. You know, like I've got maps, and you know, and I've seen 100
Do you dress?
documentaries.
Do you have the uniform?
No. I was going to get into it a couple of times, but I didn't. But I know people who are. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be my relative. Who knows? Maybe I'm him. You know,
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, like I do believe, you know, I do believe in reincarnation. My grandmother always told me how she died in her past life, that she was pushed off a cliff in France.
Oh wow.
That's where part of my family's from on my
What do you think
mom's.
about these kids who go to their parents and say, "Well, I chose you as my mother, you were my sister," or whatever? Or the kids that talk about being on the Titanic and all that?
Okay, you know what? I totally believe that, and the reason why I say that, because for years before I even had my kid, before I had my son, I would, you know, I would see this kid follow me like from the corner of my eye, and then I had different people say, "Hey man, who's that kid with you?" And I'm like, "What kid are you talking about? Like, I don't have a kid." And then I remember working one night at a hotel by myself, setting up AV equipment, and I see this kid, and he looked like the 1970s, you know, the corduroy pants, you know what I'm saying, the Buster Brown haircut.
Oh yes, yes.
And I didn't see his face, but I saw him running, and he like ran on the other side of the air wall, you know, on the other side of the ballroom. And it's like 11:30 at night. No kids should be running in there. There shouldn't be any kids at all, you know. And so
you know what that reminds me of when you said that? I don't know if you guys ever seen Insidious, the first one, where she comes across and there's a little kid playing with the record player. That scared the crap out of me. But anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So and then a girl that I was dating, she had a friend, and he was a psychic medium, and he said like, "Hey, who is that kid with you? Because he likes it when you play the guitar." And I'm like, "Oh, you see that kid too?" He's like, "Yeah, I see him." So when I got with my wife, when we were just like still dating, you know, I don't know, I just had this epiphany. I'm like, damn, we should have a kid, you know?
There's a
And
lot of crazy things out there.
right. And like I remember this day, it was just like yesterday. We were in the car, we were making a ride on Baker, and when I said that, then all of a sudden we hear a kid cooing, a baby cooing in the back seat of the car. There's no way, because the windows were rolled up. We weren't listening to the radio. You know, there wasn't any sign that, you know, sound that was coming through and all that. You all right, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah, man, I've been there. I was there last week.
Sorry. I just got
No, it's just a while ago too. No, it's
cold weather and everything, but it was.
Oh yeah, it gets to you.
Oh, and then it was hot today. Yeah. And yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So
then next week will be 20 below.
Oh damn.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad.
And I'm
Welcome to
complaining
our
about
weather.
it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna probably feel that too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but
Well, you guys, it is about 20 after. And
Oh,
I know
God, it is.
yeah, I'm not pushing, but I think Mark has to go to work tomorrow and
I got to get
yeah,
up early too, man.
yeah, I gotta
yeah,
do some things as
But
well.
yeah, Gwen, I'll send you that picture. And Chris,
please do.
it was awesome meeting you. And
Thank you for
Yes,
coming on, Mark.
yeah,
yes,
I hope
thank
we
you.
get to I hope we get to talk more and everything. And
We
Oh,
will.
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And thank you, Gwen, for being my co-host, and thank you, Mark,
Always, honey.
for
it was
being
awesome. I enjoyed
awesome.
it. I enjoyed, I'm in, everybody thinks, I'm not that, but I also not so much that, you praise the serial killers, but it's interesting,
It is
you know,
interesting.
to think, like watching Dahmer, it was like watching a train wreck. I couldn't stop watching, because it was like, okay, I gotta go to the next episode, and then I'm like, what? It's over with? I mean, come on,
But I mean, but
But-
even for an hour segment, I mean,
Yeah.
just to even talk about serial killers, I mean, that's going to be four segments because
Yeah.
you get so
Oh yeah,
detailed.
you can go on, a long time.
No,
Well,
absolutely,
that's like
absolutely.
us. Our show on Monday nights, we are never finished, but we have to cut ourselves off. But I will leave you guys with this after I say thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you so
I
much
learned
for
this
watching.
from Thomas Gormley. He told me this one time, and it made me think. In any given lifetime, you will encounter at least, I think, 33 or 36 serial killers.
Whoa,
Whoa,
that
Yeah.
is nuts.
That
is
made me
nuts.
think. That made me think. And thank
and-
you, Casey and Raymond and Sean and Pat and
Thank
all
you,
the people
Pat.
that didn't show
Thank
up
you,
on
Casey.
here.
Yes,
And
thank
everybody,
y'all,
you guys have a good night.
All right, we'll
Good
talk
night,
to you
guys.
later. All right.
Bye.
All right, bye bye.